Hey everybody, guess what time it is? It's time for Katie's top 5 favorite moments of the Twilight Saga Eclipse. Coming in at number 5 is the backstory on Rosalie. We finally get to see why Rosalie is so angry and so hateful towards Bella. Coming in at number 4 is the character Bree. Anybody who had a chance to read The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner by Stephanie Meyer, released in June of this year, will really come to identify with her character. She's not in the movie a lot, but the parts that she is are really, really great, and it was so great to identify with the newborns. Continuing in the line of characters, one of my favorite parts about this movie is Charlie, and there are some really great scenes with Charlie, especially all the comic relief that he provides. But first and foremost, the scene with Bella in the kitchen where they have a very interesting conversation about the birds and the bees. Coming in at number 2 is the tent scene. This very icy scene turns real warm real fast as this trio of love triangles come to a head. Jacob and Edward have a very lovely heart-to-heart that becomes very human and very heartfelt for these two monsters who are fighting over something very real, their love for Bella. And my top favorite moment in Twilight Saga Eclipse is the bedroom scene with Edward and Bella. This scene is very passionate and it's very romantic. Bella comes forth and puts her conditions on the table, and so does Edward in his own very unique way. And this is my favorite part of the book, and therefore it was no shocker to me that it was my favorite part of the movie. And now that that's over with, here's the rest of my review. This was the best movie out of the 3 movies so far in the Twilight Saga. There are a few moments though where I'm like, really? Here they are. Bella and Jake in the forest. There's a moment where Bella stands next to Jake in wolf form, and I'm thinking that could have been left on the cutting room floor. Also was the Jasper backstory. I understood the importance of the backstory, but I'm like, get to it already. We can speed this up. A little less Jasper, please. And then lastly was the way the vampires die in this movie. I guess I'm thinking back to the first movie when Edward kills James and the fleshy experience that occurred there. Not so much in this film. It's a little unusual. Almost sounds like chains crashing on the floor or something. Definitely interesting approach by David Slade. Not sure I'm totally against it, but still needs some time to sink in. Okay, and now on to some additional key things that I love about this movie. First is Jacob. Okay, now everybody that knows me knows I loathe Jacob from the books. I mean, he's whiny and manipulative. I mean, Team Jacob, who are you people? Anyhow, so what I love about it is that the Jacob on the big screen is so identifiable with all his anger and his feelings in this installment. And I think Taylor Lautner really has come into his own in this film. I love Victoria. Now, Victoria is controversial because Rochelle Lefevre was originally cast in the first 2 films. And I was so furious with Summit for what they did for removing her from the films in the middle of a saga. It was unnecessary. But Bryce Dallas Howard owns this character. Owns it. I mean, she's feral, ferocious, cunning, hardcore. Just the way you'd want a nomadic, newborn-like vampire to be. She rocked it. And, okay, now overall, David Slade is amazing. He brought to this movie what was missing in the first and second films. The first film was all about the intensity of the Bella and Edward relationship. The second film brought cinematography, this whole world, and created it into this experience. David Slade brought emotionality and believability to the third installment. You really could feel for the characters this time. You get into their hearts. Well, maybe except for the vampires. They don't have hearts. But you could believe the relationships this time. So whether you see it in IMAX or on regular screen, go out today. Do not wait. Go see the Twilight Saga Eclipse because it is the most awesome and epic of the 3 movies.